Good morning, colleagues. Kirsty's in. Good morning, Kirsty.
Hi, how are you?
Can I just say, I feel my heart rate go down about 15 beats when I see the calmness of your background.
Thank you. It's very zen.
It is very zen, and the plant and everything. It's unbelievable. Jane's in, Lorraine's in, Paul's back with us. Amina's in. Oh, we love Amina. How are you? Oh, we adore you. How are you, my queen? Do you want to say hello?
Looking a little bit raggedy right
You're we missed the first half of that, but we had your beautiful smile. You're going well, though? Oh, fantastic, my darling. Lovely to see you. Kendria's in and Gay's in. Now, Gay up and Gay.
Effective methods of diagnosis and treatment for your pet. If you'd like to have a look around.
Who have we got? That's very exciting. That was like a bit satanic. That's fantastic. Gay, darling, we've all been worried about you all week. How are you feeling? Are you ready? Are you ready to go now, Gay? You ready? Because I mean, last week was a bit challenging.
On preventative healthcare.
I'm getting there. Things are being resolved. They're not the way I want them, but we're getting there.
Oh, darling one, that's great. We've all been thinking of you. So, colleagues, welcome to Right Club. And the first rule of Right Club is
Right.
Right. Thank you. Thank you. We're doing incredibly well. And Anastasia's in. Oh, it's lovely to see you with your magnificent blue headphones. I want to be.
Thank you.
Very, very glamorous. So, colleagues, we're about to start writing. It's going to be a very, very big week. Gay, we are with you. I hope it goes incredibly well. And we need to do a big shout out to the people who share Right Club with us on Saturday mornings. Particularly, we need to say hello to Liz and to Claire and to Vic. So if we can all do an enormous big wave to our people who are with us asynchronously, that's fantastic. And of course, Adrian is the star of that. Adrian, just let us know, mate, what are you going to write on today? What have you got prepared to go, mate?
I'm getting into my key terms, so exploring the differences and similarities between intercultural, transcultural, and relationality. So trying to unpack that.
Oh, yeah. So no pressure on everybody else for the next 30 minutes. Adrian's given us some inspiration. So, colleagues, I'm going to try and finish a section of an article today. Let's all go for it. I'll see you in 29 minutes. Enjoy. Let's go for it. See you on the other side. Last minute, colleagues. Colleagues, we are completed. Oh, that was intense. My goodness me. But we'll start with the calming waters of Kirsty before that was just Kirsty, how did you go? What happened to you this week, Kirsty? Tell us something.
Well, I'm very excited because I've used this Hour of Power to just completely polish and tidy up my abstract to submit for my first conference I'm going to in November in New Zealand. So, and I've submitted it. So, yeah.
And
I'm very excited.
Oh, and so how did you go with it? So are you one of those people that find abstracts easy, or do you go, what am I actually doing? What am I doing? What am I doing?
I put far too much in, And so, yeah, too much. I want to tell them everything. And yeah, so it was really just sharpening that. And yeah, so that, you know, it gave them a bit of a punch in the face when they read it and go, we need her to talk a bit more about this. Yeah.
Look, I love a bit of punch in the face, right? Myself, like we're punching the neck, punching the throat. That's great. I'm so thrilled for you. But it is weird. I mean, that intensity of that 30 minutes. I was watching you and it was like we had a thing to do, and we did it.
Yeah, yeah. Thank you.
Oh, well done, because we're going to be hearing all about the conference paper now. This is brilliant. So staying in the sort of calming mode, shall we go to Jane, who is changing all our lives? Jane P. We've got our two Janes in, but Jane, how are you, Jane? Oh, yeah. How did you go?
Yeah, I went great. I'm trying to incorporate a strategy for promoting leadership pathway for female Australia Awards alumni in Vietnam to my discussion chapter, because there's one quote like, the best way to promote a woman is to promote a woman. So at the beginning of my research, I thought that's the best, but from my research, I can see that if we haven't prepared the environment to have a woman leader, so you prepare her to fail. That's actually the glass cliff with Michelle Ryan. Yeah, so it's a bit bitter seeing that, yeah, it's not the best way without changing the environment or the perception of who can be the leader.
Right. Has anybody else's life just changed in the last 20 seconds while Jane spoke? My goodness me. I was going to Kirsty, me too. It's like, Jane, that's extraordinary. And that explains, because, you know, I do a lot of work on university leadership and what's going wrong in that space. And I've been quite gentle in my interpretation of what I've actually written. Thank you, Bess. You know, I tend to be a bit punch in the throat with my work.
You saw my post.
Yes, by my work on university leadership. But Jane, what you've captured for me there is probably explained, to be honest with you, my entire life, because you can promote a woman and that promotes a woman. But if the environment is not configured to understand or be even anti-misogynistic, then promoting a woman is actually probably meaningless because the context is not changing. Is that sort of what you're arguing?
Yes, and all of the adjectives for leaders need to change too, because they are not the adjective to describe women. How can we determine, how can we decisive when we know that that decision is going to impact other people? So we have different way of making the decisions, and they are not ready for that.
Does anybody, I'm not sure why Jane's not running the world, to be honest with you. Jane, I mean, Lorraine's going, I don't remember who I was before I met Jane, Lorraine. I don't know about you. I'm going, who was I before I met Jane? It was just unbelievable. Jane, you keep doing that work. You keep telling us what you're doing and just keep changing the world. It's just, wow, I'm going to be thinking about that all day. About anybody else, I'm all weird pins and needlies and a bit freaked out. Oh, Jane, you're a superstar. Should we go to the legend that is Paul, my mate, who I seem to be talking with at 2 a.m. in the morning on Twitter? Paul, what are you working on now? Because I'm so proud of you. I don't know if you want to tell people what you're doing, but go for it, mate.
I feel slightly less influential now after hearing Jane. I was working on delivering a conference piece around pedagogical concepts for teaching within the arts, mainly looking at tradition, so traditional stagecraft, traditional craft and skill, and what pedagogical concepts we can link to that, such as zones of professional development. Zukovsky.
So you're using, see, Paul, it's unbelievable because you and I seem to be working on different edges of the world, antipodal differences, and we are working on these interesting pieces that are sort of talking to each other. And we never met each other. When did we meet each other? About a year. But it's unbelievable. So, Paul, how is that work going for you? I mean, andragogically, pedagogically, and using Vukovsky. I've just put Vukovsky in that last half an hour. I put those references in. That's amazing. How this is getting. So, how is that working for you, Paul?
Yeah, really good. It's good to so the conference is kind of going to share with other performing arts and music lecturers, and it's basically allowing them to have some tools to better link disciplinary and academic literacy within these concepts to enable better teaching, so better kind of practical application of teaching, so getting the active learning really working within the classroom. So that's what I'm
Oh.
looking at.
Wow, I need to read that. Paul, you just keep doing that because, again, that's changing the world too. It is unbelievable, Paul. Thanks, mate. Middle of the night, mate.
Anytime.
You're making a difference, Paul. You are making a difference, all right? I know
I
you,
hope so.
mate, you're doing it hard at the moment. I know that from some of the conversations we had through the week, but you're making a difference and you're transforming teaching and learning, all right?
Thank you very much.
You're the best. And look, we've all been worried about Gay. Gay, how are you? And was today a bit better in terms of writing for you, Gay?
Thanks for asking. I'm okay. As I said in the previous session, I have a way forward to my dilemma that I spoke to you about. It's not ultimate, it's not the optimum, it's not what I wanted, but it's a way forward, and I'm going to keep going forward. But my research is not groundbreaking. Oh, it's not earth shattering like this other stuff that other people are talking about. So I feel kind of insignificant here.
Don't you dare. Don't you dare, Jay. You are not gay at all. Keep going, but it's magnificent research. Come on. Come on.
So this one I was doing today is I wrote a paper on family history and the bigger picture, the bigger historical picture, as family history has always been seen as subservient to professional history and sus and badly done and all this sort of stuff. So I'm actually converting that paper into a talk at a local family history group in about 2 weeks, to tell the family historians that what they're doing really is real history, and they should keep doing what they're doing, and they should actually, I want to start something called Get It Out There, because I also have editorial and
You do.
coaching qualifications. So
Okay.
I want to help people get their research out there. And I'm going to be talking about that as part of this. Family history really is history. So
And-
that's what
And Gay, that's why you must never question. See, Jane just gone bonkers on this. So you must never question the importance of family history. I did so little family history through my history degree because I went to one of those sort of posh universities, and like families weren't important to history. Now think about that. None of us were raised by wolves unless you were. And so families are integral to the primary and secondary socialisation of citizenship. So something that matters this much, the idea that we don't have the methodology or the ontological conversations that we should be having about that. Gay, you are the person to transform that.
Okay.
Thanks. Okay. Yeah, you matter, Gay. You matter, all right?
Thank you. Sometimes, well, most of the time I feel like I don't.
Can we just, Gay, you matter. What you're doing matter. You are contributing to all of us. I'll start, Gay.
Family history is vital to my research.
Vital to my research too, Gay, and you know bloody well. Good grief.
It's
I need
vital to
actually
it's vital to
re-reference
everyone's
that
research.
paper and what you said in that in my thesis.
It's vital to everyone's research. We're all citizens. Yeah, absolutely.
Well, the thing with family history is that it has been looked down upon by professionals for so long,
It is.
because professional historians have traditionally looked at the big themes of history, like wars and empires and politics and all that sort of stuff. And then you find somebody who says that because family historians often do their work for themselves or for their family and they don't disseminate it, their research is not being used by professionals, and professionals can, for instance, I have seen so many times a professional historian saying, we don't know what this object is, so the archaeologists will laugh at this one, therefore it must be ritual.
Yeah,
Archaeology thing.
exactly.
A family historian will say, oh, that's a such and such. It's used for this.
Exactly right.
Because
Also, for subaltern and hidden histories, it's the only way to get the information you're looking for.
the other thing about family history uses the same sources
Yes.
that professionals do, and if they do it right, they're doing real history.
Yeah.
And they are actually changing the face of history because they are looking at different kinds of people. They're not looking at the movers and shakers, the male, the white male patriarchy. They are looking at women. They are looking at LGBT, whatever that thing is. I can never remember it on the top of my head.
Yes.
Convicts. They're looking at so many different things that professional historians
Yeah.
typically have not been doing.
The
So,
people
Gay,
in
can
the
I-
workhouses versus the people who were putting people in the workhouses. Come on, Gay.
Yeah, spot on. Gay, can I just ask, as we all move forward as a family, from this point on in this group, let's not differentiate anymore between the professional group of people and the people doing the actual work. Let's problematize professional as an adjective and not just put that out there and assume it's a thing. And I believe a certain physicist would like to offer a commentary to you as well, Gay. Were you going to speak, Jamie?
I was thinking about putting it in the chat. I was just thinking about public projects. So in science, we talk about citizen science. In history, there's a real opportunity here to improve the basic literacy around history.
Yep.
It was worth
Absolutely.
it was worth getting up this morning, Jamie. Thank you for that. That's changed my life.
What do you think my supervisor does? Public histories.
It's everything. It's everything. It's everything. Gay, we are with you. Just hang in there for us. Just every week, you just hold our hand and walk with us, okay? You're doing great. You're doing great. And look, Queen Bess was already in there. Talk to us about what you were writing on, beautiful Bess.
Oh, look, I wasn't writing anything particularly useful this morning. I know, I'm putting myself down again. I'm at the moment, I am a Gestalt entity with my distance education, ADHD, chronic fatigue, and concussed teenager who's trying to get through the last 2 weeks of this term in year 11 assessments. So just to try and get my brain somewhat back on track, and I am going to have to email my supervisor today and say, I can't do next week. I just can't. I picked up the giant pile of books on my desk and went, okay, which of these are going into EndNote?
Good.
And so that they're there so that I can copy and paste as I start to write, because it's driving me mad that I'm shifting into EndNote from Cite This For Me. And I'm just sort of going, I need to cite, I just need to be able to copy and paste it. I used to be able to do that with Cite This For Me. So I've actually fixed almost all of the books that I need to refer to in my library into my EndNote.
Bess, that is a crucial use of time, time, because you've often heard me say every minute we spend on referencing is a good minute. Okay.
Yeah. And I do have some good news. I wasn't here last week, but I don't know how I'm going to get to England. Anybody with ideas, because there is no funding from my university. I am too early in my candidature, but I had a meeting with the head archivist for Girl Guiding UK. And that collection that I've been trying to access for 10 years, that's been down in a salt mine in Cheshire, literally out of access. And having introduced myself as just a PhD student, because the email got too long, we had a meeting, and I said, look, I probably should have explained my background from my master's. I do conservation and heritage conservation, and this is what I had to deal with in New South Wales with 300 wet Girl Guide uniforms and blah, 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 blah. And she went, oh, I need you here. Now, problem is, it's Girl Guiding. Getting funding from Girl Guiding to get my ass over there is going to be almost impossible, but I am trying to work something out. And I've basically said, if I can get myself over there, you have me for 2 weeks. As long as I can step aside, I've done this stuff before. I can go through boxes and say, this is that, type it in. As long as you don't mind me stepping aside and taking a few photos occasionally for stuff that I need for my PhD, I am there. I am yours for 2 weeks.
Bess, let's all as a family just see if we see any interesting funding sources about community groups, travel, women travel. Let's all look for Bess. It won't take a lot of money, but let's do that for you, Bess. I'm so proud of you. Well done, you. We got this.
Make sure our mortgage and everything is paid while I leave my family for nearly 6 weeks, it's looking like. I need about 8.5, 10.
Let's all look and see what we can find for you, Bess. You are the best in the universe. Oh, and hello, yeah. So Lorraine's found something for you already, Bess.
Churchill does not give anything to PhD students. I've actually applied to the Churchill's Trust. You can only apply to Churchill as a volunteer professional trying to do research outside of academia.
Let's see what
But
we can
thank
find
you.
for you, Bess. You're the best, Bess. Let's go down to Mary. Now, Mary was very intense during that Right Club. What were you working on, Mary? I'm going to be very interested here.
What, me?
Yeah, you.
Look, Tara, darling, I'm really sorry to say I'm doing my lit review.
And the thing is, you looked really intense too. No, I bloody hate it. But it was so can you, right? So let me ask you, Mary. So tell me about the complexity of doing a lit review for Indigenous topics involving really controversial paradigms that skid through other people's footnotes.
Yes, well, there's just huge gaps, basically. And so I'm hoping in the lit review to make the chapter a little bit more interesting by pointing out the gaps, including some pages torn out of a settler's diary. So, you know, make it a little bit controversial, maybe.
Oh, yes. You know what, Mary, my obsession with this is what we don't talk about is more important than what we do. And I think I did a whole section of a chapter in my book, Tracking the Jack, on a book that's pages had never been cut. So I had to make an intellectual decision about whether I read the book, and reading the book was the way I do the literature review, or whether I log that in 120 years, this book on Australia and New Zealand and colonisation had not been cut in a university library, which showed the neglect. So was the presentation of the neglect and a lack of interest more important? And that's what I ended up doing. Oh, Mary, you rock. That's brilliant. But ontologically, I'm getting increasingly interested about how we do literature reviews in Indigenous studies. I think that's the thing.
And also a lot of the any Indigenous knowledge, really, I have to go down to very obscure little family memoirs again, Gay. This is all I've got to go on for the Indigenous knowledge, is if an Indigenous person has written their story down. And those stories are so valuable in pointing me in the right direction. Plus, I'm also gathering oral history because there's stuff still not written down.
There it is. Oh, Mary, I'm so excited to hear all of this. Jane's excited. We're excited. It's all going on. You rock, Mary. Look, I'm going to go to my new friend. Can I say, yes, that's Jenny. Can I say hello? Hello, Jenny. You've changed my life, Jenny. Jenny, hello, beautiful one. What were you writing on in that half an hour, you superstar?
Hi, everyone. Thanks for having me. It's my first time to join, and you've already blown my mind. I've got some Post-its here of Jane's comments that I'm going to pop in my gender analysis that I'm writing at this very moment. So that's already worth coming. Yeah, I'm just working on the last results chapter of my thesis and trying to pull together a few bits and bobs. I feel like it's yeah, I guess probably similar to what a lot of other people are encountering in their writing, where it's at that stage of that, you know, there's so much to say and trying to figure out what are those kind of few important points to really pull out and not get distracted. I'm at the point now where it's like you can't keep going down rabbit holes. You have to figure out what is the main point that you're trying to say, and that's always a challenge. But yeah, it's good, and yeah, very happy to be here and hear what you're all up to. It's good. It's great.
Oh, Jenny, you are so precious to us, and she's nearly finished. She's on the final couple of weeks. So, Jen, if you want to hang with us till the end, we will care for you. It's a precious time, and I'm going straight to Thomas. And I remember Thomas just before he submitted as well. Unbelievable. So, Thomas, right, tell us what fabulousness you're working on now. So, what are we in the chapter? Tell us what we did during Right Club.
We are in the chapter. I submitted the chapter on Friday last week, and then the editor already turned around and sent me notes back. So I was working on the easy notes during this hour, and then he wants me to add more panic, and also wants me to sharpen the blade and actually go in on self-help for commodifying human suffering. So we're about to like turn it from 95 to 110. And I'm not sure how far I can go with it, because it's already like 300 words over, and he's like, give me more. And I'm like, okay, we'll give you more.
Thomas, write it long. Mate, are you using some of the Virillion work, Virilio on Panic? Are you using the Virillion Panic?
Not yet, but I will look into it. I was thinking about jumping into like some of the archives from the American News on Satanic Panic to like see if I can move that through. But I will definitely look into Virilio and see if I can use that to then frame those news stories about people losing their mind about D&D and rock music.
Yeah, Thomas, he may help you because of the accelerated modernity theorization, the panic in and through acceleration, that theory may just nest everything.
Ooh, okay, I'll look into that.
Good luck. Keep in touch with me. Let me know how it goes. Oh, Thomas, I'm excited. And look, to the legendary, it's sort of Beard Central in the middle of my screen. Andrew, how are you going? Are we in literature review zone, brother? Where are we, mate?
Not literature review zone today. I'm actually working on some of my assignments because I'm still an undergrad.
I know.
So my
are you
research
working on?
is I'm working on I'm writing a fugue at the moment. I have a composition assignment due at the end of next week. So I need to write 2 fugues. One I've already been provided the subject for, and the other I need to come up by myself. So just plotting out some chord progressions and figuring all of that stuff out before I can put it all together.
Andrew, you're amazing. So if you think you're having a bad day, imagine having to write a fugue. I saw Paul go, yeah, Yoda up in the top went, yes, a fugue. Good luck with that, young Skywalker. Andrew, that's brilliant, mate. Absolutely fantastic. You just keep with us. I mean, the diversity of the group is just absolutely magnificent. Good on you, Andrew. You're a legend. And look, let's go to our wonderful Queen Anastasia. It is lovely to see you again, my darling. What were you writing on, Superstar?
I was revising my 3MT speech because I'm taking part in 3MT competition this year. So we had faculty heats last Friday. That's why we missed the session, the writing club. And yeah, I went through to the faculty finals and I got some feedback. So I was reading the feedback comments and was revising my speech.
And so you actually have written it word for word and you're sharpening and sharpening and sharpening?
Yes, exactly.
It's
only 3 minutes, but so much
3-minute thesis?
3-minute thesis, yes.
I have read about it. I'm a bit chicken to start right now, but maybe next year.
Yes, start right now because it takes so much time.
Okay, radio.
It works well in the middle of the thesis, about the second, early third year, it works well best.
Yes, yes, exactly. Yeah, I'm finishing my second year.
Oh, Anastasia, we'll keep everything crossed for you. That's brilliant and a good use of the 30 minutes too. We'll go to lovely Nadika. Nadika, how are you, Angel? Lovely to see you.
Hi, doing well, and the working on the chapter 4, here incorporating the comments of the reviewers. It's about context of Sri Lanka legal and institutional arrangement and policy on the waste management. It is bit complicated, not bit, more complicated because we have the divorce system. So many laws and institutional arrangement without making coordinating, they pass the law. So it is very complicated. And in my writing, it has some repetition. I'm reducing that.
And look, repetition, Nadika, it's hard to remove from prose, isn't it? You sort of have written it. I mean, Thomas, you must find this too. When you're doing this, it's like, have I said that before? Oh, no. And when you're trying to cut the length down, removing the repetition is one of the hardest bits of drafting you can do.
Yeah, it is very hard. Even I'm not a lawyer, so I'm a political scientist, so it's very difficult to do that. Trying to do it somehow I need to do.
Well, we're with you forever and you're doing amazing, amazing work. Look, we've got so many more people to talk to, but could I just find out how Megan's gone? I've been worried and thinking of Megan. Megan, how have you been, darling? What did you work on? Oh, sound, Angel. Sound. Let's have a look. Can I help you? You've demuted, but can anybody else hear Megan or is it just me? Oh, no, are you okay though, Megan? Are you okay? Oh, I'll go to the next I'll go to the next person and I'll come back. And of course, I did want to finish because we check in every week with Dina. Dina, how are you? Yes, Dina, you're our big finish, Dina, always. Dina, how are you going, sweetness?
I'm doing good actually. Last time I mentioned that my supervisor approved my open coding. Now I'm doing the next step. So I'm actually doing like craft sessions now where I cut off all the open codings and then put it in a big paper. It's like I don't know whether you can see it, but although it sounds very childish, it actually helps me a lot because you can see all the details. And when I worked with these people before, I didn't capture the details. Now it's like popping up, and they're very, very simple details, but very meaningful for me. For example, these are villagers that are organized by the government to be in a like an organization to respond to a disaster when everything happens. It's voluntarily, so they don't get paid. And when usually if it's a government-led initiative, it won't sustain very long because they have to put all their resources themselves. So when I chat to them, they said that they said a lot of things that I didn't think of. For example, like we're here because we like each other. Even if we don't have any formal meetings, then we'll make something, or we'll just make any gatherings to just meet. And I'm like, oh, I thought you are into this because you have to, because the government asked you to be responsible of your area. It turns out that no, we're here because we actually like to meet each other, and then if we can help each other during disasters, it serves our purpose here. I mean, our purpose in the world. So some of these very honest opinions from them is like giving me back some humanity. Like, people that are good do really exist. They're not paid for. They don't do this for money. They even have to, sometimes they sacrifice their life, because when I was in Lombok, there was a big earthquake, and the villagers from other village came to do a disaster response in the village that was affected, and one even died doing that. But at the same time, there was another follow-up earthquake in the original village. So it was like chaotic and it was life-threatening. But when they shared their experience, they were like, oh, well, we just like what we do. We like meeting each other. And another said that they do this to compete in kindness because that's what their religious belief taught them to. So I was like copying and pasting all these small details, but it's very meaningful actually. And I didn't have that when I was working for a big organization like UN. You couldn't capture those kind of feelings, and yeah. So I'm quite liking the process that I'm at now.
And can I say, wonderful colleagues, looking at Dina's journey through Right Club throughout all these weeks has just been absolutely transformative for all of us. Dina, we are so proud of you, and that granularity is why most of us got into the business of research in the first place. Yes, there's the top down and the macro, and that's important, but it is the history of emotion, the affect in our daily lives, and how that transforms. That's what renders lives meaningful. And that's the work you're doing, Dina. So colleagues, who knew we were going to have such an emotional and astonishing day today? My enormous love to Wami, who's just incredible, and we adore you. Colleagues, thank you for your time, for your expertise. For our colleagues that have got up in the middle of the night once more, we thank you so much. Jane, we all want to be you. Gay, you are the best. I'm going to stop using the word professional from this point forward without an asterisk. Colleagues, I wish you well. Adrian, have a great week, mate. See you soon, colleagues. You are the best. You are the best. See you soon.
Thank you.
Thank you.